Hey everyone, we're back. We are so freaking back. Okay, so Final Fantasy VII Revelation is here. Man, I watched everything for the game yesterday, and there's tons more news and stuff. I did not record an initial reaction, so I've already seen the two trailers that exist. So we're just going to watch it again, and then I'm going to break it down, see what I can catch in the trailers, kind of analyze it, right? Give my thoughts on it, and then I'll pose some questions, like some questions that I have that maybe weren't answered, or we'll look through interviews. Like we're gonna do. This is gonna be a long video, so let's just hop right into it. So starting with the Revelation reveal trailer. Okay. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and just turn myself into a square, and I'm going to make myself, I'm gonna put myself up here or something. Okay, good enough. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's make sure this is on the proper whatever 1440p. That's fine. Actually, let's just boost that shit all the way up. Boost. Okay. All right, so we're ready to go. Everything's good. Desktop audio is on. All right, here we go.
Long ago, a shadow fell upon our planet. Guided by calamity, one man sought dominion through reunion. By his will, a star fell. A meteor called forth to bring ruin to all.
I can't believe we have it. I can't believe we finally have all this news.
Awakening mighty weapons to stand against this celestial threat. Now, hope endures in those who fight.
Long story short, the world's in trouble. It has been for a while.
So what are we waiting for? Let's give Sephiroth the beating of a lifetime.
It looks so good, dude.
You're mine. I'll make this quick. Good night.
Oh shit, dude, I'm tearing up.
I can do this. I'll make you proud.
It's so good.
Just ain't your day.
Oh my, is that a weapon I see?
Far as I can tell, these things don't distinguish between friend and foe.
Save the planet by killing her protectors. Let us put your faith to the test, Cloud.
Fuck, dude. It's here. It's fucking here. I can't believe
Never
it.
would have made it this far without you guys. And I won't let you down. I promise.
At last, the promise is fulfilled. The journey ends here.
Like I'm breaking down again. Shit. Honestly, that part fucks me up. Cause we were all there, right? We were all there. The very first reveal trailer.
Long ago, we looked upon a foreboding sky. The memory of the star that threatened all burns eternal in our hearts. In its wake came an age of silence.
Okay, but you hear star threaten all, and then it's what he says here. It's what he says here.
And may bring joy. The reunion at hand may bring joy.
Listen.
It may bring fear. But let us embrace whatever it brings.
Fuck, dude.
For they are coming back. At last, the promise has been made.
The promise was made. The promise was made, and then listen to this, man. Right here.
At last, the promise is fulfilled. The journey ends here.
Oh my god. Okay. Alright. I honestly didn't think I was gonna get emotional again. Fuck me, dude. Like, oh. Listen, ain't nothing wrong with a grown man breaking some tears once in a while if it's something he really cares about. Fuck, man. Like, this game has been such a big part of my life for fucking 10 years, dude. Like, longer than that, because I mean, I was playing the original 7 way back when I was, you know, a young kid. I'm almost 34. I'll be 34 this year. And like, him saying at last the promise has been fulfilled, you know, like, that shit hits so hard.
At last, the promise is fulfilled. The journey ends here.
I'll be honest with you, I don't want the fucking journey to end. I don't. Like, obviously, it has to. It has to come to its conclusion, but shit, man, I wasn't ready for it. You know, everybody was chomping at the bit for FF7 Remake Part 3 news, or now FF7 Revelation news, and now that it's here, I was one of those people. I was like, man, where's the news? When are we going to get something for the last part of the trilogy? Here it is, and I can't fucking take it. I'm so happy, and I'm so screwed up. Like, my heart's just been stabbed, dude. Cause it's the realization. It's like the end of it. That's it. And yeah, you can go back and play it as much as you want, but shit, man, there'll never be another first time for this. Like, this is it. This is the final first reveal of 7 Remake. It's over, dude. Fuck. That's not what I want. That's not what I wanted this video to turn into, but shit, it did. Oh, sorry. Give me a second. Give me a second. Be right back. Okay, I can't promise I'm not going to cry more, but I will try and keep my composure for the rest of this video. Sorry, that's just this trilogy has meant so much to me, and I know it means a lot to y'all too. For anybody who might watch this video. Okay, so that was the reveal trailer. Amazing, right? We'll go into it, but let's watch the gameplay trailer next. Okay. All right. 2 more things. We got the gameplay breakdown. We'll watch that trailer.
Long story short, the world's in trouble.
So what are we waiting for? Let's give Sephiroth the beating of a lifetime.
Shit, man.
As we reunite with our heroes, the meteor looms in the skies above.
Oh.
A constant reminder of your mission and the grave threats you'll confront as you embark upon your journey and face the epic conclusion of the Remake series. Aboard the Highwind, your very own airship,
I can't.
Pride of the Shinra fleet, you'll take to the skies and witness our most expansive open world yet.
I can't believe this shit's real.
To the sun-drenched Medial Archipelago.
It looks so good, man.
Simply pick a direction and set sail. But how can you be expected to protect the whole world at once? You'll need to cover ground fast.
I am not jumping. No way, no how.
Don't worry. These parachutes are top of the line. Pull the cord and pop. You'll be floating through the air like a feather.
At any moment in the open world, simply pilot the Highwind to your destination and take a leap of faith. With the wind rushing past,
I have so many
descend
questions.
seamlessly from the sky above to the ground below. Where will the winds guide you first? That freedom is in your hands. But no matter your destination,
Happy
to
Turtle.
defeat your enemy, you'll need a fighting chance. And that starts with your trusted allies. At long last, with the world teetering on a blade's edge, everyone assembles at Cloud's side, forming an epic ensemble of heroes, each with their own story that brings you closer together than ever. But a good unit needs more than friendship to save the day. It needs a disciplined combat regimen. The hybrid battle system, established in Remake and
Have
refined
big
in
questions
Rebirth,
about this.
is perfected in Revelation. putting even more power in your hands. In fluid, real-time action, seamlessly switch between party members to even the odds. Then, when the fight calls for strategy, enter tactical mode to unleash a suite of powerful new spells and abilities. Activate devastating synergies with your companions. And of course, call on mighty summoned entities that can turn the tide of battle.
Man, it looks so good.
I won't return to my coffin until we've put Sephiroth in his.
Vincent is a deft gunslinger, capable of delivering precise, high-yield shots.
He's Durgin, dude.
But there's more to this secretive former Turk than meets the eye. The result of experimentation at the hands of Shinra. Vincent can transform into the Galleon beast at the press of a button, gaining tremendous power while transformed. And when combined with the skills of a certain ace pilot, their high-impact synergies disrupt the fight with ferocious results.
The leaping lancer, the dashing dragoon.
We're gonna be here. We're gonna be here for hours. I have so much to ask, so much to say.
The cantankerous pilot extraordinaire joins the party and their mission to defeat
Ah, the combat looks so
Sid's
good,
command of his
dude.
lance allows him to
For
rapidly
Sid
close the
and
distance
Vincent.
with powerful strikes, or engage in sweeping area of effect attacks to bring a whole host of enemies to heel. But to fully control the battlefield, skill
This
with
is
the weapon
amazing.
only gets you so far.
This
To
is
further augment
such a
your
good
combat
addition.
capabilities, try this on for size. Function Integrated Tactical Suitwear, or the FIT system for short,
Oh my
allows you to
gosh.
further customize your playstyle with new uniforms imbued with unique movesets. Alongside your equipment and materia, FITS gives you an extra edge in battle. And to face what's coming, you'll need all the strength you can muster. Sensing its fate hanging in the balance, the planet itself.
Okay, hang on. What is this? What is this? This, I don't even know. These are got to be like specific abilities for him or something for this warrior outfit, or I don't know. I really don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see.
Sensing its fate hanging in the balance, the planet itself has unleashed its last line of defense. The weapons, ancient beasts that are larger than life and capable of untold destruction.
Dude, the
Will you be
weapons
enough
are
to
gonna be
stop
so
them
sick.
Before it's too late. As the world is torn apart, you and your friends must unite. In Revelation, we come to the thrilling conclusion of the Final Fantasy VII
A
saga.
lot of the old summons are
Your
back,
mission is
which
clear.
leads me
Take
to
up
believe
your
all the
Buster
summons are in the game.
Equip your materia and stand together. One last time.
These skies
Oh
belong
shit.
to me. Hope you're ready.
Fuck, dude. There it is. And, you know, I'm just gonna call this video Let's Yap About Final Fantasy VII Revelation. Because that's what this is gonna be. It's gonna include so much. It's not just a simple trailer, watch, and breakdown and whatever. Like, we're doing so much. We're gonna do so much. Okay, alright. One more thing before we review all of this. One more thing. So this is from the Summer Game Fest, in case you didn't watch it.
There you have it. Final Fantasy VII Revelation coming to all platforms
we went too
next
far.
spring, which is appropriate for today because SGF is really a celebration.
We cannot wait to play. You better take a look.
Here, this is the last part. We see a little bit more Sapphire weapon. This shit's crazy.
Get the cannon back online, now!
Look at how alien and weird Sapphire weapon looks. He looks like an offshoot of Leviathan, you know? Very, I don't know, very otherworldly. That's crazy, dude. Okay.
At last, The promise is fulfilled.
And that was the
journey ends here.
Yeah. And then this is interesting too. This is the first time I've ever seen them reference it as episode 1, 2, and 3. But I mean, for people that don't understand the naming scheme, they thought that this was the whole game. And then they didn't know what the hell this was. And if they don't know what either one of these are, they don't know what the hell this is either. So to call it episode 1, 2, and 3, I think is smart. Like, it just makes it easy for those of us out there. I say of us, I mean gamers, right? Not me, because I'm like an FF7 super fan. But for those gamers out there that don't follow this series at all, like if they saw this on a shelf, they saw Revelation on a shelf, they go buy it without knowing that it's the third part, you know. It's important to put this, I think. Anyway, okay. All right. So let's go back. Go back to that reveal trailer. I'm gonna be pausing a lot. If that bothers you, you know, feel free to skip ahead. There'll be timestamps in the description down below, or you can just check the bar here on this video as you're watching it. And I will put in timestamps so you can skip past the trailer analysis if you just want to hear my thoughts on everything. But yeah, all right, let's hop into it. Let's hop into it.
Long ago, a shadow fell.
First thing, sorry, I know we just started. What the hell is this? We still want to know what this is. Edge of creation, sure, okay, but what is it? Is it just a symbolism for the Big Bang, all of creation, you know, the god of this universe? Like what is this? We don't know.
Long ago, a shadow fell upon our planet. Guided by calamity, one man sought dominion through reunion.
Also, why is he holding Cloud? That's a little weird. Second of all, just the symbolism here is freaking crazy. Like Sephiroth is their savior, the remnants, you know, the robed guys. And then the other half, this has got to be Gina Talk, right? This has got to be Gina Talk narrating this whole thing, and it was the cook. It was the cook for the longest time. That's why he keeps saying long ago, because he's telling the story of these events long after they happened, which is why we're able to see this remake, because it's through the eyes and memory. Well, not necessarily the eyes, but it's through the memory of Gina Talk and everything that he knows. That's the theory anyway. We don't know for sure. Anyway, okay. But yeah, so we'll
guided
start
by
here.
calamity, one man sought dominion through reunion. By his will, a star fell. A meteor called forth to bring ruin to all.
I'm sorry, what did I just see there? I'm seeing things where they're not. This looks like skin or something. And this looks like a little eyeball here. Anyway.
Called forth to bring ruin to all.
That looks sick. Dude.
Called forth to bring ruin.
Look at how sick that looks in the night sky. Oh my gosh. That's something we'll talk about too. So Maximilian Dude had Naoki Hamaguchi, the director of the game, the lead developer of the game, come over to his house right after Summer Game Fest, and Max got to ask him a bunch of questions. One of those was, will there be a day-night cycle? He said yes and no. Mostly it will just follow the narrative story beats. And if it's dark outside, it'll be for a reason. If it's sunset outside, it'll be for a reason, or that time of the story. If it's daytime, it'll be for a reason, right? So it sounds like it's going to be more of what Remake and Rebirth were, where we don't necessarily control what time of day it is ever, and there's not a constant day-night cycle clock running. So that's it's fine. It's fine. You know, it's a little bit of a disappointment to me, because I was really hoping we could see the entire world whenever we choose to see it. So like if I want to see Midgar at night instead of only during the day, I can see it all lit up at night and stuff. It'd be really cool. But anyway.
To all. But our planet answered.
Yep, here's the weapons.
Awakening mighty weapons to stand against the celestial threat.
There's old Ultima weapon.
Now, hope
the Northern Crater.
those who fight.
Was that a bench? No, I thought I saw a bench just sitting here. But yeah, so black robes going into the northern crater. This right here looks like this would be where Sephiroth is cocooned, possibly.
Hope endures in those who
and actually that's exactly what it is. Because if you look here, you see all the wisps, or the whispers, the arbiters, whatever you want to call them. Watch.
Hope.
See them? They're all over the place over there.
Those who fight.
Long story short, the world's in trouble.
Okay. All right, so we got the high wind here, right? We're flying around this fucking thing. Now,
for a while.
Wait, what did I just see?
Long story short.
Okay, so here's the Gongaga region, right? Over there looks like your Cosmo Canyon, maybe. Yeah, that's your Cosmo Canyon. So, my question is, did they change the layout of the continents? Did they? So you're in this airship, right? And there's a spot in this trailer where it looks like everything's still the same distance. So my question is, what is the point of having? Not what is the point? I'm very thankful that they gave us the high wind, obviously, but I'm just worried that the world isn't big enough to need an airship.
It has been for a while.
Like, look at how quick we just moved from one spot to the other.
Long story short.
Watch.
World's in trouble.
Everything's still so crammed together.
So what are we waiting for? Let's give Sephiroth the beating of a lifetime.
I thought how they were going to handle this is they were going to take the continents and spread them way apart, almost like the distance of what would be on the actual planet. Like, you know, if you looked at the world as a sphere, you got a continent on one side of the planet, continent on the other, instead of just all of the continents just kind of amassed in one little area of the ocean. And this looks so sick, dude. Where are we dropping, boys? You know, like, and they've been cooking the parachute thing for a while because, you know, the whole thing with Jesse's mission to go get some more blasting agent in Remake Part 1, and the map, it's going to be different. Hamaguchi even said so, but he said a lot of things will stay the same. And as the story progresses and things happen narratively in the game, he said the zones will change. I don't know if that means new quests. I don't know if that means we're going to get meteor shards crashing into places and destroying certain places so they're not accessible anymore. Or if people, you know, like, who knows? But it's exciting. So yeah, you got the little quest area over here. This is where you flee to whenever you have to leave Calm. You got the little bridge here with the loot cache. And then over here, you have the Remnant Wave Tower, and this is the Chocobo Farm, right? So this all basically looks the same. So this is new. This is the Medial area, right? It's not a new area to 7, but it's a new area being added to the 7 remake. And it almost gives off the Ancient Forest vibes, which I wonder if that's still a place that's going to exist. But we'll see. I bet you they put the Ancient Forest area, dungeon, or whatever inside Medial. Because it's already kind of jungly, so that makes sense to me. And then here we are in the middle of freaking Wutai. Like, this is just wild. And you got the Happy Turtle over here.
You're mine.
Badass combat, dude. Galleon Beast looks amazing.
Good night.
Did Vincent ever do any shit where he's dodging around just as a red cape like in Advent Children? Let's take a look again. Is he zorping around with his red cape?
You're mine.
Doesn't look like it. Looks like he does it. Well, I don't know. Look at this wind up he does with the Galleon Beast. Wait for it. No. Okay.
I'll make this quick.
Good night.
Don't get me wrong, very cool. Very freaking cool. I would love playing as Sid too, because I'm I was a Dragoon main for a long time. I was a Dragoon main for a long time in Final Fantasy XIV. And then we see this new outfit for Tifa. I guess it's called the FITS system. I forget what it stands for, but it's an acronym. But basically, they're outfits with the purpose of not only making the character look different, but also each outfit gives them a unique stat modifier / ability or skill tree. It's a job system, a job / class system that adds a little more functionality to their kit. So I'm pretty sure that they're still going to have access to all of their normal abilities and materia and items and things like that. It just adds another layer on top of that. Like for instance here, you'll see later in the reveal or the gameplay reveal, which we're going to be breaking down here in a minute, that she is a black mage here. So that's weird. That is very strange.
I'll make you proud.
And Cloud's just going ham here. That looks so cool. I think this is a new attack, whatever it is. They got green.
Just stay your day.
I don't think it's Omni Slash. I don't think it's anything that crazy, right? It's not enough hits. Omni Slash should be more than that.
I'll make you proud.
Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, no. I think Omni Slash is what? 13, 14, 15? I don't remember. It's some ridiculous amount.
Oh my, is that a weapon I see?
Okay, so this is weird because this is definitely not one of the main weapons that that we expect from the original 7. You got Sapphire, Diamond, Ruby, Emerald, and Ultima. Leave anybody out? We're not going to count Omega because that's Dirge of Cerberus shit, but he might show up too. Who knows? One thing Hamaguchi did say is they want to wrap up every question you have ever had about 7 in this game. Anything that was left on the table for the lore, the mythos, the extended universe, they want to wrap all of it up. That's what it sounded like when he said what he did. And I could go look for the quote, but I don't really feel like it at this point. We'll come across it because we're covering everything. So here we go. But yeah, so this weapon here, don't know who he's supposed to be. I'm not sure if this is the... So he's got like green, right? He's got the little green bubbles on him. He looks like the whale that that Tifa had dealings with in the Gungaga reactor. It may be the same one, it may not be. This might be like a larval form of Emerald Weapon, which is why we didn't see him in the trailer, because they didn't show any underwater stuff. This might be him before he turns into like Emerald Weapon proper.
As far as I can tell, these things don't distinguish between friend and foe.
Save the planet by killing her protectors.
Or it's also possible that there's tons of little ones that aren't the main weapons, and then you have the big bads, like the big kaiju. Oh, dude, look at how menacing this dude looks.
Oh.
Save the planet by killing her protectors.
What is he? It looks like he's sapping Mako out of the place. Which, I mean, if it's Cosmo Canyon, this is not Cosmo Canyon. Wait, is it? No, not Cosmo. I mean, Corel Desert. I'm not even sure if that's what it is.
Save the planet by killing her protectors.
I don't think it is. I mean, that should be where it is. It should be in the Gold Saucer region in the desert, Corel. What is this here? I don't know, a little lawnmower engine or something. But anyway, yeah, so it seems like he's sapping the live stream for some reason. And then look at how menacing Ultima Weapon looks. He looks freaking insane, dude. People were like, oh, he's gonna be too small, he's gonna have little wings. And based on what? Based on the Ever Crisis game? I mean, if these are his wings, I guess they're not massive, but it's hard to tell from this angle. He looks really good though, either way.
Let us put your faith to the...
Okay, so this is on the bridge of the High Wind. They got like the digital displays and the readouts and stuff. There's the wheel itself. They're thinking. I'll tell you exactly what this is. I'll tell you what this scene is right here. I'm calling it now. This is the scene where they say, we're going to the Northern Crater. Take the rest of the day. Go find your reason for being here. I wouldn't blame anybody if you don't come back. But we may not come back, so take off. And they're all thinking of themselves, man, you know, this is a heavy moment. Like why are we fighting this fight? Because they're all very somber. Like look at the expressions on these characters' faces. Somber. They're all very serious and somber. Cloud's right there. She's somber. And then, of course, you have the new Sephiroth voice actor that has been confirmed. It is not Tyler Hoechlin. It is Travis Willingham, but we'll go into that in a little bit. And then this is really cool, too. The logo being basically the original 7 logo color scheme. And Revelation is, I think it's perfect. It wraps it up. To be honest, I'm so happy it's this. It's such a good subtitle for the game. And it's so much better than Return or Returns or Reclaim. And I'm not gonna lie, I was on the train of I thought it was gonna be Return or Returns or Reclaim. I thought those 3 were the most likely, but it was not. And I am so glad it is not, because those were kind of lame. They would have fit narratively, they just didn't sound cool, but Revelation sounds really cool. And a lot of people are mad because, you know, we'll get into that. Okay, so what else?
Never would have made it this far without you guys. And I won't let you down. I promise.
Okay.
At last, the promise is fulfilled.
Launching on all platforms, chat. I don't have a chat, this is a video. But anyway, I think that's just what you do. You just say chat after everything, right? I'm gonna go take a dump, chat. Okay. Anyway, so here we go.
Never would have made it this far without you guys.
I'll tell you what this is. Hearing Cloud say this is when he finally live stream. I don't want to spoil too much because many of you may not know the story, but this has got to be the point in time after Cloud is rescued from the live stream and he finally admits something big to the entire party. He just gets it all, he lays it all out on the table for him. He's like, hey, I need y'all to know this. And then this is probably when he says this line here.
And I won't let you down. I promise.
At last, the promise is fulfilled.
The
journey ends here.
I have so many questions. All right, where do we even start? Okay, so we kind of looked through. So that's the reveal trailer. Okay, now we got to go to the gameplay trailer.
Long story short, the world's in trouble.
Okay. Long story short, world's in trouble. That line sounds like it's after he comes back from the live stream, because Cloud goes. Oh God, this is all like spoilers technically. There's going to be a point in time, if it narratively follows the original Final Fantasy VII, where Cloud will not be in the party for some time, right? He goes missing, and I won't tell you why, but he goes missing, and once he comes back, I think they're going to try and fill him in on what he missed while he was away. And I think they try and give him all these details, and instead of hearing all the details, Cloud being Cloud's like, long story short, the world's in trouble. That's all you had to say.
So what?
Listen.
Long story short, the world's in trouble.
That's got to be what that's from, right? Like they're trying to fill him in on what he missed. He's like, oh, so long story short, world's in trouble. Got it.
So what are we waiting for? Let's give Sephiroth the beating of a lifetime.
As we reunite with our heroes, the meteor looms in the skies above. A constant reminder of...
Okay, so one thing. A lot of people have seen this feedback because I read a lot of Twitter last night while I was at work. A lot of people are like, the meteor looks so bad. Look, it's posting this screenshot. The whole sky is supposed to be red. Why does it look like this? Well, this is probably right when meteor is summoned. It's probably right when it's called, and it hasn't approached Earth close enough yet. As the game progresses, this is going to get bigger, and the world is going to get darker and more orange or red. It's going to happen, right? This is probably right when it starts approaching. Everybody in Under Junon standing outside, they're like, dude, what the fuck is happening right now, right? So it's not that, oh, they messed up and this is a bad static image of meteor. This is just meteor from far away. It's not close yet. That's really what I believe. Like, I am 99% sure that's what's going on here.
Your mission, and the grave threats you'll confront as you embark upon your journey and face the epic conclusion of the Remake series. Upon your journey and face the epic conclusion.
This here, they're holding each other's hand or something. I thought maybe it was handing him the black materia, but that's not what this looks like. It's like, I think this is when Cloud is like fully controlled by Sephiroth, and you know.
Series. Aboard the Highwind, your very own airship.
Man, yeah, we got to talk about some interview stuff too, because apparently last night there was an interview where Hamaguchi said, and I haven't read this direct quote because it's translated. Hamaguchi said that the airship will be the Highwind will be available from the beginning of the game, which narratively, if we're following the general story beats of 7, doesn't make sense. We shouldn't have it right off the get-go. So again, it might be a little out of order. Much like in Rebirth, when we met Sid, we met him in the Gaga region. It's just a pilot for hire, right? That's not where we met him in the original game. We didn't meet him till we got to, Rocket Town. But maybe they're gonna give us the Highwind first, just to make things more open, which is cool, I guess. But we'll see.
The pride of the Shinra fleet. You'll take to the skies and witness our most expansive open world yet.
Right.
On the outskirts of Midgar.
Yeah, this looks insane. I've been wanting to go back to Midgar since we left Midgar, just to see it. Because I know a lot of people hated Midgar. They're like, oh, it's the worst part of 7, whatever. I freaking loved Remake Part 1. I love Midgar. Just to have access to get this close to it again will be cool. But that's another thing Hamaguchi said. He also apparently said that you will be able to re-enter Midgar and explore it. Now, he didn't elaborate, but somebody asked him, will we see Deep Ground characters in Midgar? Because he said they want to wrap everything up, right? And he said, yeah, you might see them there. He could have said no, or we'll see. He said, yeah. So they're going to be there.
To the sun-drenched Medial Archipelago, to the warrior nation of Wutai.
Where is the mountain with the Buddha on it?
Simply, the sun-drenched Medial Archipelago.
I don't know what this is. This is crazy.
To the warrior nation of the outskirts of Midgar, to the sun-drenched Medial Archipelago.
See, like, this looks like it's already closer.
To the
is it actively moving? Are the little fire tendrils moving on it? Let's see. I'm gonna put this in slow-mo here.
From the outskirts of Midgar.
Outskirts of Midgar.
The sun-drenched Medial Archipelago.
I think it is. I think it's sparkling. I think it moves a little. Hard to say though. They didn't leave it on screen very long.
To the warrior nation of Wu.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. She might be up there right now. I don't know.
Wutai. Simply pick a direction.
Yeah. So look at this, right? You can see Rocket Town area. I don't know. You can see the Nebel region here. You can see the Cosmo region, the Golden Saucer. It's the same exact map. That's why they were able to finish it so fast, because it's the same fucking map. They probably added more to it, fixed a couple things here and there, but it is the same map. Look at the layout. It's all the same. They all probably connect in the water too, so if we still have access to the tiny Bronco, you could probably still use that as well. And I see nothing new here. That's okay. I mean, there's going to be a lot of new stuff once you land and start doing stuff, obviously. And then there's this. This here is new because we didn't go over there. Because to check things off our list, we have Nebel, Costa del Sol, Corel region / desert, Cosmo, Gongaga Forest, and then this has got to be Medeal out here, right?
Say.
Well, maybe not. I don't know.
But how can
It's
you
pretty
be
small.
expected to protect
And then like you can see the invisible border of nothing, right? Because all of the stuff on the map is just right here, I think.
the whole world at once? You'll need to cover ground fast.
I am not jumping. No.
At once. You'll need
What
to
do we
cover
see
ground
right there?
fast.
This here looks like the Junon High Cliff / Grasslands area.
I am not jumping. No way, no how.
Don't worry. These parachutes are top of the line.
So for the parachute traversal thing, I have two questions. First question, when you are flying the Highwind around, can you park at any, can you stop anywhere in the sky, walk out onto the deck and jump? Can I jump into the water? Can I jump up on top of a mountain? Even if there's nothing there, can I land on the mountain and then possibly parachute down from the mountain to get to somewhere where there is something to do, just for fun, right? They say you can parachute anywhere at any time. Can you actually, though? Like, what is the freedom on that? That's really what I want to. Also, as you're going down, how much control of the drop do you have? Is it like full-on drop-in Battle Royale PUBG style where you can steer the character and pull your chute early and drift for a while? Do you choose where you land, or does it have predetermined landing spots where you kind of just go through a cutscene of moving your character back and forth, and then it fades to black and fades back in, and you just calmly land wherever it wants you to? Like, that's what I want to know. How does landing mechanics actually work? Where can you drop? And then the second question is, how do you get back on the Highwind? How do you get back on it? Do you call it to the ground? And I think that's probably what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is, well, actually, no, I don't know. Because I was going to say, maybe when you call the Highwind, you see like a ladder roll down in front of you, right? And it's like a cutscene. You can't look up, you can't control the characters at all. So it creates the illusion that the Highwind came in low. Like, you probably hold a button to call in the Highwind, just like you do for the buggy or for a chocobo. And then the thing rolls down, right? Why is this not? And then the thing rolls down, like the little ladder, and then your characters climb up, then it fades to black, and then you fade back, and you're on the Highwind up in the air. I think that's what's going to happen, but we'll see.
Pull the cord and pop. You'll be floating through the air like a feather.
Okay.
At any moment in the open world.
At any moment in the open world. What are we looking at here? What is this? What is this? This is Medeal? No, is this Costa? What is this? Not Costa. This has got to be Medeal.
Simply.
Yeah, this is new. This is Medeal, because this is that weird tall structure. Yeah, okay. This is a new area. This is the Isle of Medeal.
Pilot the Highwind to your destination and take a leap of faith.
I wonder if that means Benora will be here somewhere.
With the wind rushing past, you'll descend seamlessly.
You'll descend seamlessly
from the sky above to the ground below.
It doesn't look like you have any control.
The wind rushing past, you'll descend.
See, I don't see Tifa moving the sticks. It looks very on rails.
Seamlessly from the sky above to.
Like there's zero movement of that parachute, and it seems like it guides it on a coast all the way to the ground to this landing spot.
The ground below.
I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But I'm just telling you what I see. I think that they will give you some limited control of the parachute, but I think you'll only have one little landing area, right? I don't know. Let's see. Let's wait and see.
Where will the winds guide you first? That freedom is in your hands.
See, this is interesting, because he basically just said, where will the winds take you first in the Highwind? That'll be up to you. In other words, there's no linear path to do things in the game. There's a narrative story overarching, but you probably have to visit all these areas, and you probably get to choose where to go and in what order. And that's something Hamaguchi talked about in an interview, which I'll have to find the interview after we're done breaking all this down. But in the interview, he said, allegedly, we'll see, he said that there will not be multiple endings to the game, but there will be multiple consequences to your actions. In other words, a bunch of different branching paths of your choice and how it affects things. And he said you will not be able to see every consequence to every action on one playthrough. It will not be possible, which encourages what? Replayability. You could decide to go to Wutai first, then go back to Midgar, then go to Junon. Meanwhile, the other person that's playing the game next to you went to Cosmo, then Mediel, then Fort Condor. And because they did things in a different order, they got different scenes. It affected the world different. Maybe it unlocked a different set of side quests. See, that's something to think about right there. So Final Fantasy VII Remake, Part 1, right? I have to say Part 1 because a lot of people just remake. Which remake? 1, 2, or 3? Part 1, Remake. Depending on your choices in the game of like, you'd get like dialogue choices, and then which side quests you did, what your invisible affinity was to Aerith, to Tifa, to Barrett, that would determine what side quests you got in Wall Market. You can get one set or the other set. I think it's 2 different sets of side quests. And there are side quests that you can't see in one playthrough. You would have to save scum and go back and make those different choices to get the different side quests to drop. And I think it'll be the same here, where there's going to be things that you just simply miss. And you have to miss it because you have to come back and play it again to see, well, what if I had chose B instead of A? And that is so cool, man. Because I would, if this game is as big as I think it's going to be, I put like 240 hours into Rebirth, right? That is my main save, 240 hours. This I could see being a 300+ hour complete save file playthrough. And probably more, but 300 is probably a generous bet.
But no matter your destination, to defeat your enemy, you'll need a
and then you can see like we're on the broken highway and we're getting closer to Midgard than we've ever been.
Fighting chance. And that starts with your trusted allies. At long last, with the world teetering on a blade's edge, everyone assembles at Cloud's side, forming an epic ensemble of heroes, each with their own story that brings you closer together than ever. But a good unit needs more than friendship to save the day. It's a disciplined combat regiment.
Okay, so you can see Wutai looks different here. It looks darker. It looks like you'll be here for multiple parts of the day. Like this looks like dawn, or not dawn, like dusk or sunset.
The hybrid battle system, established in Remake and refined in Rebirth, is perfected in Revelation.
And then here, I'm not noticing very many differences in the UI stuff. I did notice like
system of the day. It needs a disciplined combat regiment.
I'll point it out when I see it. So we still have our limit break level here. You got your synergy bars, you got your ATB bars. Like that's all the same. Your limit gauge, your MP gauge. This is 1 here. I wonder about that.
System established.
I wonder if that means he's the party lead.
In Remake and refined in Rebirth is perfected in Revelation, putting even more.
See, now here that there's no number, so I don't really understand what that is.
Power in your hands. In fluid, real-time...
Yeah, listen to what he says.
Action. Seamlessly switch between party members to even the odds.
Seamlessly switch between party members to even the odds. Now, what I want that to mean is you have Tifa, Cloud, and Barrett here, and you're fighting these monsters, and then while still fighting these monsters, you swap on the fly Tifa for Yuffie, and then whoop, Tifa hops out, Yuffie comes in. That's what I want, but they didn't show that here. I don't know if they didn't show that because it's not a system that's ready yet, or if they didn't show that because they want something more to show later. Because they showed a lot of shit. Let's be honest here. Let's not get too greedy. It is the reveal after all. Yeah. So, but listen to what he says.
Then, with real-time action, seamlessly switch between party members to even the odds.
Seamlessly switch between party members to even the odds. But, I mean, that could literally just mean, you know, I can go from Barrett to Cloud to Tifa in the middle of a battle, which, if you're in the same party with them, then yeah, that's been the case since the first one. And maybe they're reiterating that because maybe this is the first time somebody's seen one of these 7 remake games in this reveal here, and they don't know that you can swap between the characters. But I hope that's not what they mean. I hope it actually means you can swap party members in and out of the active battle during the battle.
Then, when the fight calls for strategy, enter
Okay. I was really hoping, I'm sure a lot of us were. I was really hoping that this would not be a thing. I was really hoping they would get rid of this shit, right? No summon bar. I don't want the summon bar to start because I've been in a battle too long. That's stupid. I think they should have give us free reign to summon whenever we want. Maybe not unlimited, right? Maybe 1 summon per person per fight, I think would be fair. So like for a boss, each person could summon something once. Maybe you have to like charge up or save for it or something. You know, like a separate summon bar here. Or by using ATB commands or synergy abilities, you unlock this little summon bar and then you can summon something like that instead of just kind of being in the battle for a while. But to be honest with you, I don't even want to do that. I just want to be able to summon the monsters whenever the heck I want to. Like that kind of freedom. And maybe you will get that at some point. Maybe one of these outfits that they're wearing give you like it looked like Kate Sith was wearing a summoner horn. Maybe that outfit allows him to summon whenever he wants on demand, which it probably does. Let's be honest here. But yeah, so I guess we'll have to wait and see on that.
Tactical mode to unleash a suite of powerful new.
This says members here, right? I'm not sure. I don't think it's ever said that before, but it's interesting that it says members. And then over here, well, you got Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa, and then you have them over here as well. I'm not seeing anything that shows that you can swap out these people. Braver under abilities, / focus thrust, SS.
Spells and abilities. Activate devastating synergies with your companions. And of course, call on mighty summoned entities that can turn the synergies with your companions.
Okay. So you can see here, when he's hovered over Magic Pot.
Powerful new spells and abilities.
Watch.
Activate devastating synergies with your companions.
It says summons a Magic Pot down here in the bottom left. That's all it says. And then when he goes over Ifrit,
and of course,
summon Ifrit, type stagger, element fire. So it's a type of summon, stagger. And then Titan.
Of course, call on
he doesn't go over Titan, so we don't really know.
Turn the tide of battle.
Okay, that's nothing new. It's also worth noting that within these trailers they show Ifrit summon and Fat Chocobo, I think. So that's at least 2 summons from a Remake Part 1 that were not in Rebirth, which probably means that you're going to have access to every materia that they've made for the game in this game. And that's another question that I have about materia. Is there materia birth? Do materia, when you max them out and level them all the way up, do they birth a new one like it did in the original? I hope so.
I won't return to my coffin.
This is some northern crater stuff here.
Vincent is a deft gunslinger, capable of delivering precise, high-yield shots. But there's more to this secretive former Turk than meets the eye. The result of experimentation at the hands of Shinra. Vincent can transform into the Galleon beast at the press of a button, gaining...
Did y'all see that? It was real quick.
Vincent
look up on top of the mountain.
Vincent can transform...
Well, first of all, you can see he's in his transformed mode, right? And he also has like this here. So I think what's happening here, okay, hear me out. I'm almost positive on this. This is his max HP. What happens is he loses HP, and once this here runs out to this line here, like this is a drain on his HP. Once it hits this line here, like each of his transformations is going to cost a certain amount of HP. Maybe this one costs 25% because it's his first transformation. The second one costs 50%. The third one might cost like 60%. And if there's actual chaos transformation, it might take him down to 10%. And he might be doing some wombo damage, but the trade-off there is, you know, he's losing health fast, and he's a glass cannon, he could die easily. So, but I think what happens is once this ticks all the way down, he transforms back into regular Vincent. That's what I think. But we'll see. I think I read something about his forms, like his transformations, in some interview notes, but we will see.
To the galleon beast at the press of a...
Oh shit! Damn, it was so quick. Hang on, let's go back here. Couple frames. Look, there it is. See the high wind up here? It almost looks like the blade spinning. Are the blades spinning? Yes, the blades are spinning. So the airship is up here. So wherever you leave it in the sky seems to be where it stays, which is kind of crazy. It's not like it lands on the ground or on a landing strip. It's just floating up there. Pretty crazy.
Gaining tremendous power while transformed. And when combined with the skills of a certain ace
Yeah, I'm looking for anything different.
pilot, their high-impact synergies disrupt the fight with ferocious results.
The Leaping Lancer, the Dashing Dragoon, the one and only
Hell yeah.
Sid Highwind.
Let's go, Sid.
Highwind, the cantankerous
Let's go,
pilot
baby.
extraordinaire, joins the party and their mission to defeat Sephiroth. Sid's command of his land.
And I love this area, man. They nailed the Eastern aesthetic here, and I mean I would hope so, being that is a Japanese RPG and a Japanese made game, but it looks so good. And you know, it gives me Wukong vibes, but only because like Wukong is obviously, you know, Eastern based, and like just the neat different kinds of trees and stuff. Man, I can't wait. And then here's something else to note. You see Leviathan here? That's the patron deity of Wutai, is Leviathan, and there he is. So that's kind of cool.
This allows him to rapidly...
There's something. It's like the ninja fortress back there. Ryu Hayabusa's at the top there, fighting the dude with the nunchaku. Okay.
Close the distance for powerful strikes, or engage in sweeping area of effect attacks to bring a whole host of enemies to heel.
Mark Lance, what is that?
But to engage in command of his lance joins the party.
He has a jump. Did you see that?
And their mission to defeat Sephiroth.
Watch. Okay, so as soon as he left the ground, he gained the ability to jump. Now it's weird that nothing's mapped to these buttons. I think they did that purposely, just so it wouldn't be like tied to any one console or anything. This is like a generalization.
Command of his lance allows him to rapidly close the distance for powerful strikes, or engage in sweeping area of effect attacks to bring a whole host of enemies to heel. But to full...
What the heck is Mark Lance? I gotta know. Okay, yeah, here's the fit system. So Barrett over here looking like a tank or something.
Fully control the
or a paladin.
Skill with a weapon only gets you so far. To further up...
And then you got Kate Sith here with the summoner horn.
Augment your combat capabilities. Try this on for Seth.
Yeah, this is wild. Okay, so Hamaguchi said 4 outfits per character. So basically 4 classes. So Cloud's base is Freelancer, but he said 4 outfits. I'm really thinking that means 4 outfits on top of the one you start with.
Function Integrated Tactical Suitwear, or the FIT system for short, allows you to...
Did it change his stats?
Function Integrated Tactical Suitwear, or the...
No, I saw no change in stats.
Try this
look down here. Look down here.
Function Integrated Tactical Suitwear, or the...
Nope, nothing changed. And it might just be because they don't want to show that off just yet, right? Maybe. We don't know. We don't know how this works.
The FIT system for short allows you to further customize your playstyle with new uniforms.
Black Mage Tifa is wild, dude.
Alongside your equipment and materia, FITS gives you an extra edge in battle. And to face what's coming, you'll need all the strength you can muster. Sensing its fate hanging in the balance,
Crazy,
the planet
dude.
itself has unleashed its last line of defense.
Of course.
Weapons. Ancient beasts that are larger than its last line of defense. The weapons.
Cloud's in a wheelchair somewhere back here. In a house, I guess.
Ancient beasts that are larger than life and capable of untold destruction. Will you...
Who all's on these? You got Yuffie here, Sid there. What?
Enough to stop them
I couldn't see it. Kate Sith.
before it's too late. As the world is torn apart, you and your friends must unite. In Revelation, we come to the thrilling conclusion of the final...
Okay, mini game to unlock yourself from the unlock Tifa from the gas chamber.
Must unite.
Was there?
As the world is torn apart.
Was there? Okay, barricade. Okay, so this is straight up Monster Hunter shit. You got to stop him before he breaks down the barricade. Gotcha. Yeah, they man, that is heavily Monster Hunter inspired. I was never good at those missions, by the way. The defend the gate missions.
You and your friends must unite.
Okay, so she got a grapple hook back. That's cool.
In Revelation, we come to the thrilling...
There's Fat Chocobo. But the interesting thing is, it looks like Kate Sith is interacting with it. So I almost wonder if he can swap out his mount. Because it says he has his mount out right now, but I don't see it anywhere.
Conclusion of the Final Fantasy VII saga. And your mission is clear. Take up your Buster Sword. Equip
Materia chilling.
your materia.
This right here, it looks like snow. Not sure what these are. This might just be the Forgotten Capital. It probably is. Cloud's turning around looking at him and stuff.
And stand together.
Headless Genova. That's freaking wild. Because Genova's had a head this whole time up to this point. But for some reason she doesn't now. And well, okay, I take it back. We're assuming this is Genova. It doesn't make any sense for this to be anything else. It's got to be Genova.
One last
time. Okay. Max asked about this. He said, we saw that a regular Chocobo was using like water Chocobo powers right here. It's like, how is that possible? Is that a gold Chocobo? What's going on? He said, no, the game uses Pico, which was the Chocobo from Rebirth. And don't see that.
Last time.
There's like a town down there or something. They said, yeah, you will go on your journey with Pico and he will grow with you, probably unlocking abilities until he is the ultimate Chocobo. And then I think Hamaguchi said something about Chocobo breeding being a thing. So I think it's in the game, maybe.
These skies belong to me. Hope you're ready.
Okay, so that is the High Wind. That is the High Wind there, shooting a laser blast. Let's go back here. You see the deck of the High Wind right there. Shooting a laser blast. At what? I gotta go frame by frame to see this because it's so dang quick. Come on. Maybe. Okay, frame by frame may have been a bad choice. Here we go. By the way, no Fort Condor. I think it's supposed to be over here. I think this is Fort Condor because it looks like it's got that slope, but you don't see the bird. So this might be after you've already gone there. Okay, what are we breaking here? What is that? What is this red shit here? What is that? Okay, and what is this? That looks. That is Ultima Weapon. Holy, that is actually Ultima Weapon. That is who that is. Because that is a wing, and if you look at his face, this is Ultima Weapon. So this is probably Ultima Weapon attacking Mediel, right? Okay, Cloud collapses. Yep, he is prone to do that. Here comes Sapphire. Okay. man. I could talk about this shit all day. I will not be talking about it all day. We got a few more minutes to go, a few more things. I made a list here. We're gonna go over it, right? Bing, bing. Wait. What is that face Sephiroth's over there making? Okay. Yeah, they got a bundle deal going right now. I don't know if for every platform, but my brother said he picked up Remake and Rebirth on PlayStation for $31.99. That is roughly $16 a piece for each of these games. Totally worth it. If you have not played them, go play them. Go freaking play them. Trust. Do not start here. Do not. Well, buy the game for sure. I want you to buy it. I want Revelation to do gangbuster sales. I want them to brag that they sold, 8 million copies of this shit. They couldn't make that brag about this. They've never given an official number for this, because I think Remake Part 1 did like 7 million copies. And this, we're projecting somewhere around 2.5. I think a big part of that was not everybody had a PlayStation 5 because it was in the middle of COVID and stuff. And then shortly after, a couple of years after COVID, people still didn't have one because, what was it? CPU microprocessor shortages and shit, so they weren't able to make as many PlayStations, whatever. That's all over with now. Every store I go into has like 1,000 PS5s. Now that being said, they have gone up in price. That's a whole nother issue that we're not going to get into right now. But good thing is, all of these games, including these first two, right, that are available to play now, these first two you can go play right now, they are available on any platform of your choice. If you have a PC, go play it on PC. If you have a Switch 2, go play it on Switch 2. If you have an Xbox, I think it has to be the new Xbox. I think it has to be the Series S and X. Go play it there. Or PlayStation 5. Yeah, so go do that, please. Thank you. Anyway. What else? So, let's go... This part's pretty freaking wild here. Just review this real quick. So, I remember how I said that Sapphire weapon looks so like... And here's what's wild. The airship is still here, right? So to say that we have... This makes no sense. To say that we're going to have the high wind from the beginning of the game, when it is literally still on the airstrip while Sapphire is attacking... This is how the original game went. In the chaos and commotion of this happening, you steal the high wind and escape, right? With Barrett and Tifa, you have to rescue them. So maybe this happens right at the beginning of the game, but that would be kind of crazy, because you'd have to explain like how we went from flying off in the tiny Bronco to being imprisoned by Shinra. Like there's story that needs to be told there. So I really don't think we're gonna have this at the very beginning of the game. We might have the high wind within the first 4 to 8 hours of the game, but we're not gonna have it immediately. I just don't believe that. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, let's finish this up here, and then we'll go over a few more things. Watch this. Literally fires it at him. What happened in the original? Do you remember? Look at the views. 777 views. Wow. Okay. All right. Maximilian Dude's theory. What is his theory? Oh, I think I know what that was. Well, we won't go into that. But yeah, November 12th, 2023. Let's see what I was up to back then. Damn, I look weird without the beard. Beard is weird. Let's talk about it. Here we go. Okay. So he cuts a hole, you know. He goes to do it again. Oh. And it's dead,
well,
right?
Sapphire's Dunsky.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Yeah, what an idiot. You tell him. You tell
also,
him, younger me.
Justice for Sapphire weapon. Because...
There it is.
Should have he was the only one that you didn't fight.
Yes.
What do you do? Oh. What'd you do? Hey, open it.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's enough of that. We're not going to sit there and watch my old playthrough. If you want to, it's here on the channel. It's called Final Fantasy VII Refresh. You can go watch that. Because it was like, everything had the re in it. You know, remake, rebirth, revelation, refresh. It was a refresh playthrough before Rebirth came out. Anyway. Okay, so... now we know. But yeah, so his head got blown off. Look at this shit. The thing literally dodged. He said, psych, and then blasted. He still cuts the little slit here, right? But then this happens. I don't know if that means he just dodged the first one and then he doesn't dodge the second. I don't really know. He was not supposed to dodge here, obviously. That's another thing worth noting. Look at this. This is dripping. The barrel is dripping, okay? And I'll just dodge that. Crazy. Okay. Alright, so we are just going to loop this, I think, and we will get some FF7. Okay. Alright. We got our background shit running constantly. Let me fix this real quick. Okay, we're back. We're so back, chat. Okay. So, yeah, where even are we on this? Let's see. Give my... Okay, what was my overall opinion? Well, let's start here. What was my opinion of the name? A lot of people are up in arms about this because, well, it doesn't follow the naming convention. And that's what everybody was saying for the longest time. It won't be Requiem because it's not pronounced Requiem, it's pronounced Requiem, so it's not a re-title, like remake, rebirth, so it has to be re-something, right? Well, it turns out it was not. So there's that. I really thought it was going to be Return to Reclaim. I'm glad it's Revelation. It sounds a lot cooler, a lot more epic, right? Also, anybody who's really upset about that, get over it. Like that's all I gotta say. Like respectfully, get over it. You were wrong. Whatever your guess was, don't be hurt. Don't be hurt about it. Don't be butthurt. It's just a name. The game is going to be amazing, as you can clearly see. Okay. So just don't sweat the small stuff. It's just a subtitle, not a big deal. Here's another thing. So my opinion on what was shown here. I mean, there's so much being shown, right? Amazing, absolutely amazing. I have tons of questions about how the open world exploration is going to work. The traversal of the high wind. Is it going to feel like you're this big ship going from continent to continent within like a second? Because if it is, that doesn't feel nearly as good. But I guess we'll see. It kind of looks like that. It kind of do. It kind of do look like that. Just being honest here. They say that this is the perfected version of the hybrid system combat. I guess we'll see. You don't really see a lot of differences here. Everything looks basically the same. You got your ATB bar, health bar, synergy bar, limit break level. You know, it all kind of looks the same. You might have more team up attacks and stuff, but we haven't seen, you know, tons of those in this. There's just several, but not like a lot. Okay, what else? My opinion on the new Sephiroth voice actor. You know what, let me pause the music real quick here. Well, let's pause that. Where's the main trailer? Okay, let's go back here. Go back here a little bit. Pause that for a second. All right.
Let's put your faith to the... Let us put your faith to the test, Cloud.
If that's Sephiroth, it sounds so different. It sounds so different. He sounds like he's... Okay. I don't want to be rude. It sounds like he's aged, right? It sounds like it's old man Sephiroth in his golden years talking to Cloud. And it might be. Maybe that's how they write it off. Man, I really just think it's not a deal breaker. I'm not super upset about it. It's just going to be weird because I got used to hearing Tyler Hoechlin, and I think we all feel that way. But also, people they're overreacting a little bit about this. I understand for continuity purposes, it would have been great to have Tyler come back for the final part. It's actually kind of crazy to me that he didn't. Don't fully understand. Maybe he had another commitment. Maybe he just didn't care that much about the role and just kind of let it. Yeah, I'm good. Let someone else do it. I got other stuff going on. That's fine. Whatever it is. I mean, that's his life, his choice. Yeah, right here. Listen to the voice. Listen to this voice.
Were the planet to die, so many things would be lost. Your hometown burns so bright. The sound of her voice, pleading for me to spare you. The shiver of her flesh.
W Animal Crossing, by the way.
That which binds us together would be no more, and I would be loath to live in such a world, which is why I must ask you this one favor. Don't worry, it's a simple thing. Run, Cloud. Run away. You have to leave. You have to live.
Okay. So you... Oh, shit. You bastard!
You bastard!
Listen.
Good, Cloud. Very good. Hold on to that hatred.
And then listen to this.
Let us put your faith to the test, Cloud.
I'm gonna be honest. If that's the voice of Sephiroth, which I think we confirmed that it is, the new voice, what was his name? Travis Willingham. It's not through any fault of his own, but he doesn't really sound like the George Newbern or Tyler Hoechlin Sephiroth. I guess if that's him, we'll just have to adapt. We'll have to get over it. This game is such a gift. It's such a gift to all of us, and we need to be thankful for that, you know? We need to be thankful. Hamaguchi and his team, my word, dude. Like, they have done so much for us. It's insane. Anyway, okay, but yeah, so there's the Sephiroth. My opinion, overall, I would have preferred it had they kept Tyler just for continuity, and also you just kind of got used to his voice. Let's let Travis cook. Let's see what he got, you know? That's pretty much it on that. I don't think he'll do a bad job. I think it's just going to sound different. It's going to be like very weird. And then like I guess there's a new voice actor for Reno because the Japanese. Well, okay. So the English voice actor for Reno, as far as we know, is the same, but it's the Japanese voice actor for Reno passed away just shortly after recording his lines for Remake Part 1. And now, I think in Rebirth, he didn't have very many lines, so they just copied his lines from Remake to Rebirth. And now they're giving him a whole new voice actor because Reno's going to have a lot more voice lines, so they can't just copy the same few sentences over to Revelation. But yeah, so that's cool. Hopefully the new Japanese voice, the Japanese voice actor for Reno does a great job for those of you who are going to play it in Japanese. What else? Okay. So let's address like all of the negativity online and stuff. Let's just give it its moment in the sun. Things like I hate the name Revelation. They've completely milked FF7 and run it into the ground. I like turn-based. I can't play this action slop, whatever. You are perfectly within your right to have those opinions, those preferences. There's nothing wrong with that. I will say I don't understand them, but I respect your right to have those opinions, I guess. Just look, honestly, it has become such a thing in our society and in the gaming space and just media in general, like movies, music, games, like consumable media, to just shit on everything. Just for the sake, just for clicks, rage bait, engagement farming, like it's just crazy. How about you don't do that? If you don't like the game, just piss off. Just, you know, just if you don't like the game, just go find something else to do. Go play something that makes you happy. How about this? Instead of focusing on all the negative things in our life, why don't we push those negative things to the side if it's something that we can't change, like the title of a video game or the fact that it's not turn-based? Why don't we move away from that if it's not for you and go play something that you like? And be happy. I want everybody on this earth to be happy. You know, right hand to God. I want everybody on this earth to be happy in this life. As long as that happiness doesn't come at the cost of other people's, you know, whatever. That's a whole nother philosophical thing. But generally, I wish the best for everyone on this planet Earth that we share. Don't be a dickhead. Just go do something else. Let us have our time in the sun. We are going to criticize the game too. Just because you have a criticism doesn't mean you hate the game. But just keep it to a minimum. Like, don't make any assumptions about anything. Don't think, oh well, they didn't show Zack, so now Zack's not going to be playable. He's not going to be in the story. Yada yada. Which, by the way, Hamaguchi said in an interview, which we'll look over, that Zack is going to be a major part of the story still. So, and I mean, he's on the freaking cover art. Okay, what else? That's the negativity. Talk about the positives. Positives is, instead of getting a little 2-minute teaser, which this was, we also got like 7 or 8 minutes of actual gameplay stuff. And that was amazing. And here's the crazy part, chat. Okay, the chat that I don't have. I'm just gonna keep saying chat. They have barely scratched the surface on what this game is going to offer. That is a huge positive. Okay, they have barely showed anything. I guarantee you, these improvements to the combat system we haven't seen. They're not represented on there. If they say that this combat's improved and what we have on the screen is what the improvements are, I haven't seen anything. There's no difference. Not really. So I'm pretty sure that they haven't showed off the combat. They're hiding it to save it for later, right? Things like maybe summoning when you want, or materia birth, or triple tech attacks, right? We didn't see any triple tech anything. It was all dual tech. It was all 2 people attacks, right? There's going to be more. There's going to be more combat stuff, I have no doubt. We didn't really see any mini games, and I think that was intentional because everybody's like, you know, too many mini games. I hated the mini games. Mini games too hard. I hate mini games. I hate mail. I hate mail. Right? A lot of people didn't like the mini games, and they called it open world bloat, filler, whatever. Not all the not all the mini games were great. I will admit. Here's some Gambits. I'm looking at you. Not really that great. The Cactuar minigame, it wasn't great. I didn't think it was bad, but it was definitely hard. It was hard until you figured out what you were supposed to be doing. I I actually, I take that back. Yuffie's Cactuar minigame was not hard. Aerith's version was very difficult until you figured out how to get it to work. But anyway, yeah, so we have more stuff. That's the biggest positive I'm taking away from this, is that they showed us so much, and yet they've showed us nothing. There's still so much more information to come, and that is very exciting. Like, that is super exciting. So yeah, good name, good info. Those are the positives here. And we have a release window. That is a major positive. Spring 2027. That could potentially be anywhere from 9 months, 12 months away. Because I think spring officially starts March 21st, and it runs all the way to like June 22nd or something like that. Because June 22nd, I think, is the beginning of summer. So yeah, so you have anywhere from March 21st to June 22nd, I think. Now, there is a theory, and I'm kind of on board with this theory, that the game will launch April 10th, 2027. Which is, April 10th is the anniversary of Remake Part 1's launch, which would make it exactly 7 years since Part 1 came out, is when the final part, Final Fantasy VII Revelation, comes out. So, that's exciting. Okay, what else? I guess my questions for everything, as it is right now, where are we going? How are we getting there? Like, how does the Highwind actually work? Can you control the parachutes? Can you actually swap out party members mid-battle? They said seamlessly swap between characters, but I think all they really mean there, I hope I'm wrong, I think all they really mean there is, oh, you have Cloud, Barret, and Tifa in a party? You can switch between Cloud, Barret, and Tifa while fighting. I mean, we kind of already know that, so... But I don't know. I'm going to give Square Enix the benefit of the doubt. I take back what I said. I believe we will be able to swap party members out actively in battle. So we will see. How do the jobs work? What kind of jobs are there? What do they actually do? Because we saw when we equipped the skins, we didn't see attribute changes. We didn't see any unique menus for the job as far as what abilities or buffs those jobs give us. We didn't see any of that, really. The closest thing we saw, hang on, let me go back here. This is the reveal trailer. Let's go back to the gameplay. Where's the fit system? Fit system, here we go. I think it's here. Is it here?
Imbued with unique movesets. Alongside your equipment, need all this hanging in.
Yeah, okay.
You can
check this out. So Cloud being in his fighter form, he has a 1, 2, and 3 here, and he has this. This looks like it's increased ATB, maybe? Perhaps, maybe? Or like, use 3 attacks, use 3 ATB bars, and then unlock a 3rd ATB bar? Or, I don't really know what this is. This could just be you gain ATB faster, like ATB charge rate up. That's like a buff of fighter, which would make sense. You get to do special moves more often. But we don't really know. So that is the only thing that I saw different, other than this little sword symbol here for fighter and the black mage cane symbol for Tifa. Right? That's pretty much it. So I need to see more of the combat. I gotta know more. Will there be materia birth? So those are my main questions for now. I'm gonna have more. And to wrap this up, let me see if I can find some interviews for us to go over real quick. Let me see that interview. See the white whispers in this specific scene. Who's standing in front of you if you look? What? Check this. Check the second. Wait, what? Check the second picture out and look who's standing in a shadowy cloak-like figure and look at the shoes. You have to look really hard. Somebody else pointed it out to me. Where? What are we looking at? What do you mean? At the second picture? Look at the cloak figure shoes? What the hell are you talking about? I'm not seeing it. Oh, okay. Never mind, that's stupid. Sorry, I got lost in the sauce here. Let's go straight to the source. Let's go to Hamaguchi. Yeah, man, like Twitter or X or whatever is unfortunately where most most intelligent thoughts go to die. Don't put too much stock in what's going on. It's all just engagement farming and rage bait. Most of these people on here aren't even real people. They're just bots farming. Yeah, Hamaguchi. Let's just go straight to the source here, yeah? Straight to the source. For Game Fest. Infamy interview. Translated from Japanese. You know what? We'll just go ahead and use what, Genki maybe? Does Genki have anything good? That's not new. That's not new. Let's just go 36 minutes ago. Green, red, blue. Okay. All right. Let's just do this. Let's try this. Genki, I am giving you credit. So there you go. There's your shout out. There's your credit. He says Naoki Hamaguchi says FF7 Revelation will have about the same, if not more, content than FF7 Remake. It's gonna have more. About the same is ridiculous. It's gonna have more. He says you won't be able to experience everything in one playthrough, so it's hard to say which has more, but Revelations will have a very large volume of content. Okay, let's... Where's the article? He gave us a broken link. Okay. Okay, FF7 Revelation details. I would really like to read this for myself, but I think all of the interviews are still in Japanese or something. Third and final entry of the FF7 Remake trilogy, yes. World on the brink of annihilation, yes. Sephiroth nears godhood, yes. Take to the skies, hybrid. Okay, this is not what I was looking for. Thank you anyway, Genki. I need Automaton interview. Yes. Okay, yes. Hello, Hamaguchi-san. Addressing the previous game's challenges, too many minigames improved by providing the option to skip them. The sense of dragging during long play sessions addressed with advanced reward previews. Or choices and branching paths, it will truly conclude. What is going on? Why did they take it down? Am I stupid? Doesn't seem like it's working. Copy link. Paste. Why is it a .tco whatever the fuck? Okay, let's do this. Automaton FF7 Revelations. Ridiculous. Ridiculous I had to go do that myself. Okay. Alright. Let's see what we got here. Interview. Final Fantasy VII Revelations open world evolves another step beyond rebirth. Can y'all even see that? Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. On map design, player freedom, and new battle systems. Interview with Final Fantasy VII Revelation director Naoki Hamaguchi on the game's open world design, fit system, and more. Square Enix has officially announced FF7 Revelation, the third and final entry in the ambitious FF7 Remake series. The game is scheduled to release in spring 2027 on all platforms. Chat, all platforms. We're goated. We're in the Gucci timeline, or whatever kids say. It's lit. A reveal trailer and gameplay showcase were unveiled together with the announcement. Cool. Continuing from FF7 Remake and Rebirth, trilogy's finale will finally bring the fate of Cloud and his companions and of the planet itself to a conclusion. Well, that is really bright. Let me just put on my blue filter here. Automaton recently had the opportunity to interview Naoki Hamaguchi, director of both this title and the entire FF7 Remake trilogy at Square Enix. We asked him about the open world revealed in the trailer, the game's new battle systems, the role of minigames, and more. This is part 1 of a 2-part interview. Be sure to check out part 2 as well. Have we done a part 2? Was that a thing? Oh my gosh. Here's part 2. Okay. Alright. Please introduce yourself. Naoki Hamaguchi. Naoki Hamaguchi director, Final Fantasy VII Remake Series. Got it. Finally lifted the veil on FF7 Revelation. How confident are you in the game? I'm very confident in the game's quality, and it's quite moving to think that we're finally bringing the series to a conclusion. Speaking of which, is it really going to end this time? Hamaguchi says, we're fully committed to delivering a proper conclusion and creating a game that will firmly remain in people's memories. As far as the FF7 Remake series is concerned, this is the final chapter. As far as the FF7 Remake series is concerned, this is the final chapter. That does not mean that as far as Final Fantasy VII is concerned, just the remakes. So there could still be spin-offs, DLCs, yada yada. That's reassuring to hear. There was a lot to take in the new trailer. Yeah, no kidding. Wow. But is there something you'd like people to pay attention to in particular? Hamaguchi says, my first answer is everything, of course. That's a good answer. But I'd especially like people to focus on the gameplay. Up until now, our promotional videos for both FF7 Remake and FF7 Rebirth have tended to focus heavily on the characters. However, the world of Final Fantasy VII and characters like Cloud and Sephiroth are now already widely known among gamers. So this trailer focuses much more on the game's systems and on what we're trying to express through the game itself. In that sense, I think it conveys a somewhat different vibe from the way we've promoted the series in the past. That's true. In the old games is a little bit more character focused, sure. It definitely felt like there were fewer cinematic scenes, or rather that it was quite heavily gameplay focused. That was intentional then? Hamaguchi said, that's right, we wanted to clearly communicate, here's what you can do in the game, and this is how deep the gameplay goes. Well, I'm really thinking they barely scratched the surface, because we've barely seen anything. I noticed the trailer specifically used the term open world. Hamaguchi says, everyone tends to define open world differently, but in the case of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, while the map spanned multiple continents, those continents were still somewhat enclosed by an inland sea. However, in FF7 Revelation, the story unfolds across an entire planet where everything is truly connected. You'll be able to freely fly around the world aboard the Highwind. In that sense, I think this is an open world game that expresses a sense of scale quite different from FF7 Rebirth. They say, as you mentioned, the definition of open world tends to vary, and it's difficult to reach a consensus among gamers. Damn, there's so much. Hey, hang on, let me think about this for a minute. You'll be able to freely fly around the world aboard the Highwind. Yeah, but it doesn't look like anything's spaced out very well. I don't know. I'm just worried about what I see versus how it actually works. Okay, as a result, some companies tend to avoid explicitly calling their games open world. Why did you inside... Sorry, one second. Ugh, I'm yapping too much. Dry throat. Why did you decide to embrace it so openly this time? The term open world. Hamaguchi says, during FF7 Rebirth's marketing campaign, we never officially called it an open world game. and we were actually quite nervous about what to call it. FF7 Rebirth represented a major shift from FF7 Remake, and personally, I believe the essence of an open world game isn't whether everything exists in one giant seamless field, but whether players can freely enjoy and explore the world. By that standard, I think FF7 Rebirth already qualified as an open world game. It did. It did. Still at the time, we debated endlessly about whether to call it an open area game or an open field game. I've also heard the term open zone, just to throw that out there. Once the game launched, the media and fans started calling it open world game anyway. So with FF7 Revelation, we're confidently calling it an open world game from the start, and it's not merely a rehash of what we did before. The scale of the experience has evolved another step beyond FF7 Rebirth, and I want players to really feel that. To be honest, I don't know whether open world is the perfect term, but I can say that we set out to create an open world spanning the entire planet. The planet's looking kind of small, bro, I ain't gonna lie. With the scale surpassing FF7 Rebirth, it's not just about having a vast map, but an evolved experience where, depending on what a player chooses to engage with first, the way their adventure unfolds can differ significantly. In other words, like I was saying earlier, where you decide to go and in what order can change your gameplay experience. It might actually change how you get from A to C. Instead of going down A to B1 to C, you go down A to B2 to C. That makes sense. Branching choices that might actually have an impact on something. That's crazy. Okay. Among the differing definitions of an open world, what kind of open world would you say is FF7 Revelation specifically? Hamaguchi says, one key characteristic is that the game takes place across the entire world. The continents are separated by oceans, and I think that makes it stand out among other open world games. So yeah, so continents are separated by oceans. Since we're adapting an existing story, we thought carefully about how to create a more open version of FF7 World. Ultimately, we felt that having regions organized by continent, while still maintaining a world where everything is genuinely connected, would be more intuitive and appealing for players to engage with. I think that's one of the key things that sets FF7 Revelation apart from other open world games. So an open world spanning the entire planet is one of the game's main selling points. Hamaguchi says yes. In contrast to FF7 Rebirth, where you gradually unlock new regions and eventually gain the ability to revisit previous areas, the story of FF7 Revelation takes place in a game field where the entire world is connected from the start. You'll be able to fly the Highwind anywhere. I hope players will come to experience just how different the scale is compared to Rebirth. Now, if this is where people got, you'll have the Highwind from the start. I could see that. I'm not sure that we will, but we'll see. Okay, we're dropping in. We're there. Oh, that's a really cool picture there. Were there any open world games that personally inspired or influenced you while creating FF7 Revelation? Hamaguchi says, I'm always playing a variety of games to reference and draw inspiration from. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, he loves that game, which I often mention, is one example, and there's also Hogwarts Legacy and the Horizon series. Games built around similar design philosophies often grapple with the same challenges, and each arrive at their own solutions. Seeing how other developers solve those problems broadens my perspective and helps me discover new approaches in my own work. More recently, there's also Crimson Desert, which has been generating a lot of buzz. After playing it myself, I learned that overwhelming scale can be a powerful strength in its own right. FF7 Revelation's open world won't feel sparse. One common criticism of open world games is that they can feel huge but sparse. How does FF7 Revelation tackle density? Where's the water, dude? Dying over here. Have a water. Freaking water. I think I'm gonna die. What the fuck is that? That water smelled. I just swallowed water that smelled from a bottle. This water does not smell. With the actual shit. I only have 2 water bottles here. One of them was the bad water bottle. I start projectile vomiting, you know what happened. Okay. Anyway, Hamaguchi said, honestly, I don't think people need to worry about that at all. From my own playtesting, every region feels densely packed with content. He's played the game over 40 times, chat. Alright? One thing worth noting is that FF7 Revelation includes all of the continents from FF7 Rebirth. After all, if we suddenly announced that, say, Cosmo Canyon had been removed, people would be upset immediately. Well, no doubt. Why would you ever do that? Oh. So with so many continents to work with, our biggest challenge for this project was to make sure all of them were tightly packed with content. Of course. We began designing content from a very early stage, and each area contains its own unique activities, gameplay mechanics, and interactive elements. Depending on where players choose to go first, their experiences can end up being quite different. So players will be able to revisit previous locations, including Cosmo Canyon. Hamaguchi said, as a gamer myself, I know that simply being told you can go back to the same map isn't very exciting if only a few minor details have changed. To be honest, revisiting an old area in a new game can sometimes feel more tedious than exciting if it's structurally identical. Hamaguchi said, exactly. That was actually one of the title's earliest challenges. We absolutely had to preserve the world map from previous games, but if the experience remained unchanged, those locations would end up feeling redundant. That's why we haven't simply reused the same areas as is. Just as in the original game, the appearance of the weapons had caused major changes across the world. The visual identity, atmosphere, and setting remain familiar, but the maps themselves are different from those in the previous games. So there it is. Similar but different. But even then, players might still go, this kind of feels familiar, so we've experimented with changing the flow of exploration itself. In FF7 Rebirth, each region featured different types of chocobos that altered how exploration felt. In FF7 Revelation, you'll travel alongside your chocobo companion named Pico. As Pico grows, the way you explore the world changes as well, meaning players can have different experiences even within the same area. Kind of sounds like he learns multiple things. Beyond Pico's progression, you'll also be able to parachute from the high wind and interact with the environment in more vertical ways. You can climb higher, chat. You hear that? I wanna fly high. Okay, beyond Pico's progression, you'll also be able to parachute from the high wind and interact with the environment in more vertical ways. Personally, I think that's one of the game's biggest attractions. The FITS system, FF7 Revelation's take on jobs. Hamaguchi says, another major feature in FF7 Revelation is something we call the FITS system. What exactly is that? Hamaguchi responds, it's essentially a kind of job system. One challenge both battle director Teruyuki Endo and I faced was how to expand the battle system from FF7 Remake and Rebirth. At one point, Endo went, jobs are one of the defining features of the Final Fantasy series. That's true. It's very true, chat. True and real, based, whatever other buzzwords get you to keep watching. Hang on. There you go. Alright, still watching? Cool. Alright, wake up. Wake up! Get your head in the game. We should incorporate them this time. Jobs, yes. His idea was that we'd allow players to customize characters, for example, turning Cloud into a more mage-oriented character, and thus avoid conflict with existing game systems. I thought it sounded promising, so we decided to move in that direction. That's how the job-inspired FITS system came about. I believe the large cast of FF7 is one of our strengths compared to many other open-world games. With 8 party members available, players can choose 3 members, experiment with their synergies, and customize their individual roles. To me, letting players experience all the different combinations seemed like the right approach for this title. Conversely, I don't think creating a game focused on punishing enemies at players and forcing them to struggle would have been what our FF7 is about. Wait, so is he saying the game is easy? I don't think creating a game focused on punishing enemies at players, forcing them to struggle, would have been what our Final Fantasy VII is about. So it sounds like he doesn't want it to be too hard. Okay. I see. So the FITS system is there to add depth to party battles. Hamaguchi. I think that's where things have changed quite significantly. What's interesting is that once the system started taking shape, Endo came up to me with the proposal that all outfits for all characters should be unlocked at the same time as soon as the fit system itself became available. That really surprised me because the whole time I'd been thinking about how to distribute different outfits throughout the game as incentives to guide players towards parts of the game. Giving players immediate access instead of using them as a reward is a pretty bold decision. Hamaguchi said, right? But when Endo suggested it, it made sense to me. Traditionally, you'd start with something like a warrior outfit for Cloud and a black mage outfit for Cait Sith. Then after progressing through the game, Cloud would eventually gain access to black mage outfit as well. However, while this makes it seem like the player is making choices at first glance, in reality, the game is steering them down a path designed by the creators. With FF7 Revelation, however, we wanted players to make their own choices, and Endo's view was that if that's our goal, then we should simply hand players every outfit from the beginning and let them decide for themselves which outfit they want on Cloud and which on Cait Sith. Hearing this, I thought, alright, let's do it. It sounds like, even though the trailer didn't show it, once you unlock, either we're getting all of the outfits at once for everybody, or once you unlock Black Mage for Cloud, you get it for the whole party, right? So then you can all be Black Mages and blow shit up. Another factor is that nowadays skill trees practically require reset options, don't they? So we've balanced the system around the idea that if players try an outfit and don't like it, they can simply switch to a different one. That's weird. Okay, interesting. This is probably a question you get asked often, but the game releasing on multiple platforms, have hardware differences imposed any restrictions on game design? Hamaguchi said, no, they have not. From the very beginning, we designed game assets and resources with a wide range of hardware specifications in mind, from lower-end systems to high-end ones. Because of that, moving to a multi-platform approach hasn't imposed any limitations on our game design. You can rest assured on that point. I get asked this question frequently, but honestly, the more times I answer it, the more widely the understanding spreads, so I'm happy to keep saying it. I'd also like to ask about the weapon battles, which were prominently featured in the trailer. True. What kind of combat can we expect? Hamaguchi, when we started designing the weapon battles, there was one thing I told the battle team very clearly. Weapons are enormous, so if you know, I just realized we could have used a little bit of music here, right? Could use a little bit of music there. Wasn't even thinking about it, sorry. Oh my gosh, there's so much. There's so freaking much. Hereafter. Okay, alright. Alright. Where the heck were we? What kind of combat can we expect for weapon battles is what the question is. Hamaguchi, when we started designing the weapon battles, there was one thing I told the battle team very clearly. Weapons are enormous, so if you simply introduce them into the normal battle system, all you can see is their feet without some ingenuity. Yeah, true, you just hack away at their toenail. The standard combat system will not work without some ingenuity. If the goal were to simply make them easier to implement, I imagine you could turn them into cinematic sequences with QTEs and scripted interactions. Hamaguchi said, that's certainly one possible approach, but I wanted to depict weapon battles as a natural extension of the regular combat system. Even if we created a completely different style of battle and players cleared it successfully, I felt it would have been disappointing that all the character progression, customization, and preparation they'd invested in up to that point suddenly became irrelevant. In other words, all of your builds, all of your materia, all of your presets, everything you had ready for this fight, and then you didn't even use it. That makes sense. That would be a little disappointing. I told the team that I didn't mind adding new mechanics or minigame-like elements, but that fundamentally, weapon battles needed to be built on top of the same combat system. That is a great answer. I love that. In the trailer, there's a scene where you're fighting the weapon of Medea, where you go in, where you grab onto Barret and fire it. Wait. Where you grab onto Barret and fire at it like mad. But using that mechanic isn't mandatory. You can slowly chip away at the enemy by repeatedly attacking its legs if you want, or you can use battle gimmicks. The important thing is the weapon battles function within the framework of the normal battle system. I think we've done an excellent job of making that work. This trailer definitely gave the impression of, wow, this is all playable. Hamaguchi said that's exactly what we were going for. I think it's going to be something players will really enjoy, so I hope you all look forward to it. That was part 1, chat. That was part 1. Here's part 2. What does Final Fantasy VII Revelation do differently from its predecessors? Director Naoki Hamaguchi on meaningful player choices, resolving the minigame issue, and more. Golly. There's going to be... You know Hamaguchi loves his interviews. Man, I gotta take a leak. I'll be right back, chat. The themes of the trilogy's finale are resolve and choice. Following from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, what were the biggest challenges you faced while developing FF7 Revelation? Naoki Hamaguchi, here thereafter referred to as Hamaguchi. It's not exactly a challenge. It's not exactly a challenge, but throughout this remake trilogy, we've always wanted the gameplay experience to transform with each new entry. So when it came to FF7 Rebirth and FF7 Revelation, the first thing we discussed as a team was how and what to change. Every game in the series... Okay. See? Like jump scared me. Okay, sorry. Every game in the series is developed by large teams, so it's important to establish a clear theme that defines what the game is about. For FF7 Rebirth, that theme was bonds, and for this new title, we've chosen resolve as the central theme. Simply put, from the story's perspective, Cloud and the others face their final battle where they'll confront their feelings, the feelings and burdens they've carried with them, and they are filled with resolve to face those things head on. As creators, we also have the resolve to properly bring this trilogy to its conclusion. When we translated that idea into game design, we felt that players themselves should also be asked to make their own choices with conviction. For example, in FF7 Rebirth, the world map was packed with content, and no matter what order players tackled it in, there were no disadvantages. You could simply start playing from whatever interested you first, and eventually you'd clear everything. We designed it to give players a sense of security. True, it felt a bit like popping bubble wrap. Hamaguchi said exactly, but I don't think that was a bad thing in itself. In fact, I think it worked really well for FF7 Rebirth. However, when developing FF7 Revelation, we wanted to change things, so this time we're asking players to make more choices of their own. We've included far more sections in this game where player choices are so crucial that they can alter not only how they progress through the game, but even the direction of the storytelling itself. That is wild. I can't even believe I'm reading that. In that sense, players will need to make decisions under a certain amount of tension, and I think that's one of the biggest differences from FF7 Rebirth. This is a game where your experience changes based on your choices, yet things ultimately converge toward a single conclusion. In other words, how you get to the end will be different for everybody, but you will all arrive at the same end. Speaking of choices, you've mentioned being a fan of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, where player decisions can dramatically affect NPCs, like causing them to disappear or meet a happy or tragic fate. Is FF7 Revelation going to go that far? Hamaguchi said, I wouldn't say that we're directly following what The Witcher does. When I think of this kind of depiction within the world of FF7, having someone disappear or become miserable might not always feel appropriate. So how we are expressing those consequences instead? So how are we expressing those consequences instead? I'd like to keep that under wraps for now. FF7 is a series where fans feel strong affection toward the characters, so we're aiming for an experience where the player's actions determine what they'll see more deeply through the characters. So you've portrayed the consequences of each choice in a way that feels true to the world and tone of FF7. Hamaguchi says, I believe the key question for Revelation is how deeply we can explore the characters. Man, I'm getting tired of reading. Not tired of reading, but like my voice is starting to give up. And having exploration change depending on the player choices felt like the right approach for this game. In the previous title, players might have experienced content in a different order, but ultimately, everyone saw almost the same things. This time we wanted to create experiences that could completely differ from one player to another. That's just so crazy, dude. There's also something I think both players and the media are probably curious about. Which game has more content? Rebirth? Revelation? I'm definitely curious about that. Hamaguchi said, in terms of volume, I'd say they're roughly about the same, or perhaps Revelation may be a bit larger, since each player's experience differs. It's impossible to see everything in a single playthrough. That's amazing. It's impossible to see everything in a single playthrough. When you consider the total volume of all possible experiences combined, it's honestly hard to say whether Rebirth or Revelation contains more content. That's how substantial Revelation is. I noticed the trailer says something along the lines of how you play is up to you, suggesting a higher where's my mouse? Can't see it. A higher degree of freedom in gameplay. What kind of freedom are we talking about? Hamaguchi says, fundamentally, player involvement in the game, the choices we discussed earlier, can directly affect both gameplay progression and storytelling to the point of the narrative branching. That's just crazy, dude. They're basically saying it has a direct consequence on the story. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, chat. That's crazy. Though if I put it that way, it might end up coming off as a multi-ending game. I want to be very clear about the ending. Numerous fans have stayed with us throughout this trilogy, and we intend to provide a definitive conclusion as our answer to them. In that sense, nothing has changed. There's only one ending. The overall direction of the story does not change, so everyone can rest assured about that. However, the choices players make on their journey toward that conclusion will affect their individual experiences as well as the stories told through side content. Meaning, even if it's not a multi-ending game, it's fair to expect a meaningful amount of branching within the story itself. Hamaguchi says yes. However, since FF7 has a very large fan base that loves the main story, rather than cramming branches into the main narrative itself, we've focused on enriching the main story through side content in a variety of ways, while incorporating branching paths that allow players to tailor their experience. Minigames. Oh god. Oh god. Minigames. Minigames. Okay. Alright. Shit. There's so much to read. There's so much okay, I gotta... There's so much to read. Ridiculous. Okay. Addressing the minigame issue. Here we go. Personally, I enjoyed exploring in FF7 Rebirth because there were so many quests and collectibles, but there were also moments where the pacing started to drag during longer gaming sessions. Have you refined the gameplay loop to make players more eager to move on to the next objective? Hamaguchi says, one thing we've done is to make the reward system much clearer. In FF7 Revelation side content, we've made it immediately obvious what you'll get from participating. Players can quickly understand if you want this reward, this is the activity you should do. For example, you'll know if an activity awards materia, items to buff your characters, or something unrelated to battle, like character skins. Wait, what? Wait, what? What the fuck? What did I just read? Chat. Are you seeing this? For example, you'll know if an activity awards materia, items to buff your character, or something unrelated to battle, like character skins. So the fit system is not the skin system? Are they two different things? What does that mean? Because I thought we were implying here that new outfits give new abilities. Did they not say that? I'm almost certain they said that. I don't know. That's weird. That's really weird. Anyway, moving on. Looking at modern games, we considered which format would be the most enjoyable for users, and felt that making rewards more direct would better motivate them. On that topic, FF7 Rebirth also received a lot of complaints regarding its minigames. How have you addressed that? Good question. I liked the minigames for the most part, but a lot of people hated them. Hamaguchi says, the request to reduce the number of minigames is a difficult one. I have a very clear policy that I don't want to change no matter how much feedback we receive. After all, the original FF7 had an enormous number of minigames. This remake exists because of the original game, and respecting the original is one of our core policies. More than in previous installments, we've made it so that you don't have to engage with minigames if you don't want to. For example, when it comes to minigames tied to battle progression, players who wanted to focus on combat ended up feeling forced to play them. To address that, minigame rewards are now largely unrelated to combat progression. Instead, they offer things like character skins and customization options, so that only those who want to play them are encouraged to do so. Meanwhile, battle progression and the like are tied more closely to the combat-oriented side content. Overall, I think the game is much more comfortable to play than past entries. There you go. That said, I imagine there will always be players who dislike a particular minigame but still want its rewards. To help with that, we've added difficulty settings specifically for minigames. Now you can lower the difficulty to easy if you wish, and if you try a minigame and immediately decide it's a lost cause, you can also skip it right away. That's hilarious. We've made a number of improvements aimed at minimizing frustrations. So much for Get Good Scrub. In that sense, we've done everything we reasonably can. We won't reduce the number of minigames, but we will continue making every effort to ensure as many players as possible can embrace them. So rather than reducing minigames, you've made greater emphasis on you don't have to do them if you don't want to. Why was it important to not cut back on minigames? Hamaguchi said the abundance of minigames is one of the original game's defining traits, so even in a remake, that's not something I intend to change. On the other hand, I do believe it's crucial to make them more comfortable to play and to ensure players don't feel disadvantaged. If they choose to skip them, we've incorporated the lessons we learned from FF7 Rebirth into this game, so I'm looking forward to seeing how players respond to it. When it comes to long playing sessions, including minigames, it's important to know up front what you'll get out of it, even when you're having fun. I think it's common, especially with big budget titles, to find yourself wondering, wait, what was I doing all this for again? Hamaguchi says, especially in this game, you obtain the high wind fairly early on. See, not from the beginning. Not from the beginning. Fairly early on. And from that point, you're essentially told, go wherever you want and play however you like. That's crazy. In FF7 Rebirth, many players would clear one area at a time and wouldn't move on to the next until they'd fully completed that area. Yo, that is exactly how I did it. Clear that shit up before moving on to the next one. Now, I will say by the time I reached the Nibelheim region, I was getting a little fried on the open world exploration checklist, rinse, repeat stuff. But it sounds like they changed up how it's done. I will say I still see Remna Wave towers. Still see the towers. But worried about that. I was like that too. Hamaguchi, in FF7 Revelation, because the open world opens up so much, you'll have access to a wide range of areas with very different difficulty levels. You might wander into a place out of curiosity and immediately get demolished, but you'll have access to a wide range of areas with very different difficulty levels. You might wander into a place out of curiosity and immediately get demolished by powerful enemies. So you'll also be moving back and forth between regions much more frequently, because you have to go level up, bro. You're not ready for that area, which is how it was in the original 7. If you went somewhere super early, you could get your ass beat. It happened. When that happens, I think players are even more likely than before to find themselves asking, what was I supposed to be doing again? When it comes to the purpose behind each piece of content in a game, the narrative experience is something that follows afterward, but the most immediate factor is the reward you're going to receive. We felt that communicating those rewards more clearly would better suit the game's design, so we made major changes in that area. Sorry, chat, hang on. I assume that if the only reward for a lengthy quest is story related, then for people who don't particularly value narrative, it can feel like a chore. I understand the rewards are now more closely tied to gameplay systems. Hamaguchi said that's right. The world of FF7 contains a huge variety of content, and naturally there are bound to be things that simply don't appeal to certain players. I guess like an example would be if you hate card games, you don't have to play Queen's Blood, right? What's important is for players to feel that they don't have to do things they don't like, and I felt the previous game was a bit too strict in that regard. We're addressing that. We're addressing that as a point of reflection. Beyond that, are there any other measures you've taken to make the game more enjoyable over extended play sessions? Hamaguchi said, I'm not sure whether this is the correct answer, but in this game the world map is divided into numerous regions, and obtaining the Highwind allows you to travel to many different places. However, there are still locations you can't access because of story-related reasons. For example, the Nort crater. Dude, I want to go to that Nort crater. Nort? The Nort crater becomes inaccessible for a period of time because a weapon has appeared there. There are several areas that are effectively off limits because they're considered too dangerous within the story. As a result, when you eventually gain access to those places later on, I think players will enjoy the sense of freshness that comes from discovering entirely new types of content. I love that. I love that. Okay. Another factor is the growth of Pico, your chocobo. At first, Pico can do little more than run across the ground, but eventually it develops to the point where it can fly and glide across any area. He said fly. He said fly and glide. Wonder if it can actually fly. Can it actually fly? Because of that, I think revisiting the same area later in the game can feel very different from your first visit. As a creator, I've really come to appreciate how important spatial exploration is to an open world game. In FF7 Rebirth, you already ventured into vertical exploration to some extent. Hamaguchi said yes. It was only partially present in Rebirth. After all, once you try to make that kind of design work consistently across every region, all sorts of problems emerge. We're still dealing with some of those issues even now. Another difference is that in Rebirth, most quests were largely self-contained within a single area. In FF7 Revelation, content difficulty and variety are no longer limited to individual regions. For example, you might pick up a quest in one location, then have to travel to another area to progress it, and then continue on to a third. Some quests will have you flying all over the world before they're completed. If you've already visited an area, you can use fast travel to reach it. If you haven't, you can fly there using the Highwind and even parachute directly onto your destination from the sky. That's another major difference from the previous game. Yeah, dude, fast traveling sounds stupid. Don't do that. Even though the main story deals with a serious situation, there's often a contrast in RPGs where side content remains relatively lighthearted. I find that can sometimes feel jarring, especially in story-driven games. What are your thoughts on that? Actually, that's something I'd like to hear players' final thoughts on after they've experienced the game. Because the story is so important to this title, we've paid close attention to it. And between major story developments, we've tried to create moments where players naturally feel, okay, now's a good time to go do some side content. I believe we've achieved a reasonable balance between the tone of the main story and the tone of the side quests. Revelation will truly bring the trilogy to a close. FF7 Remake had the clear appeal of reimagining FF7 itself, while Rebirth offered the continuation of the story and the excitement of finally leaving Midgar behind. What would you say is Revelation's defining strength? Hamaguchi says, well, this would have to be that would have to be the fact that it concludes the story. People often ask us, will it really end this time? But this game's very purpose is to bring the story to a conclusion. I'll continue telling everyone this as much as I can, but one of this game's greatest strengths is that we are absolutely going to finish it. For those who have stayed with us through the first and second games, I think that alone will be gratifying. There are also many fans of the original FF7 who love the game, but have been reluctant to start the remake trilogy until all the installments were available. Man, the amount of people The amount of people that I've seen online comment this, not playing until all the parts are out, not playing until all the parts are out. Fair play to you, bud. It's coming, alright? You will get your chance. But I'd go ahead and start now, because you got 9 months. And if you're a slow playthrough type of person, I'd probably start no later than like August, September time frame on this trilogy. For those as well, the message is finally simple and clear. It's finally coming to its conclusion. That too is part of our genuine resolve to see this through to the end. I imagine development is still ongoing, but could you tell us more about the team's current state and what mindset you're carrying as you work on the game? Hamaguchi said currently we're playing through the game every day, making adjustments where things feel rough around the edges, and adding assets that weren't fully implemented yet. Man, that sounds to me like the reason why they didn't show off more combat stuff is because it's not ready yet. Triple Tech's not ready yet. Materia Birth, possibly still in the works. You know, switching characters actively in and out of battle during the battle, instead of just swapping between your 3 pre-made party members, that's probably still in the works. It's been... Okay, repeating this process while addressing any bugs that arise along the way. Sure. It's been more than 2 years since Rebirth launched, but it sounds like Revelation will arrive quite quickly compared to the gap between Remake and Rebirth. Hamaguchi said that's true. It must have been quite hectic. Hamaguchi said it's been incredibly tough, but we believe that releasing this game into the world as quickly as possible is one of the most important things, not just for us, but for the fans as well. The entire team is pouring everything we have into finishing it, so please look forward to it. That's it. That's it. That's it. I think he had another interview somewhere, maybe, didn't he? Somewhere. Den Fami interview. Yeah. Yeah. Blocked for some... I don't understand. I guess I can't open things from... It's all in Japanese anyway, it doesn't matter. Will areas from past titles appear? What will happen is that... You know what? We'll just go to Audrey's translations for this. Audrey... Yeah. Aitai Kimochi. Okay. Everything leads here. I'm curious about where... Ah! Sorry about that. I'm curious where is here. The Japanese also says whatever. But where exactly is that? Livestream, Northern Crater, very intriguing. I read through that entire long FF7 Den Famiko interview with Hamaguchi. Here are some huge revelations, pun intended, about the game and what we know so far. Translated, summarized by me. Player choice will have consequences unlike Rebirth, and this will affect the storytelling of the game. Each player might end up with a completely different experience. We did read that. Highwind Airship will be available from the beginning of the game. Not true. Early on, he said, not from the beginning. The Where system jobs will also be unlocked early on in the game. Okay. New stories will be told regarding places not explored in much of the OG. Cool. Like places like Benora, hopefully. There maybe even... What's that place called up in the snowy area? Fuck. What's it called? Come on, chat. Help me out, chat. Snowy area, not Icicle Inn. What the hell's that place called? FF7. Snowy area. Crisis Core. Modeoheim. That's what it is. Like, maybe we go there. There are a lot of areas you can access with the Highwind early on, but they might not but you might not be able to proceed since enemies are incredibly strong, since they want players to have the feeling of what should I do first. Scale of the open world feel of the game has greatly expanded. Offensive gameplay allows them to switch between human form and beast mode with one button. There is no time limit, similar to how Yuffie uses her shuriken mode. Sid is very adept at aerial combat. Cool. Vincent and Sid have synergy elements as well as other characters too. Zack will have even more scenes in Part 3 and plays an important role. The idea of multiple timelines is conveyed through Zack's presence and his part of the story. I don't think it's timelines. I think it's realities, possibilities, right? Like alternate timeline is, I don't know. You could look at it like timeline. I think just alternate realities are more, or what if universes, you know? Alternate worlds. The replacement voice actor for Reno has been decided. Yep, talked about that. Wutai is incredibly fleshed out this time around, and the Turks will also be a part of it. Wutai will have a very political storyline involved. Yay, politics. Woo! Midgar is back in Part 3, and you can explore it again. And you may even encounter some deep ground characters as well. Nice. Rocket Town is indeed in the game. Hamaguchi says they actually wanted it to show up in Rebirth, but they decided to have it in Revelation instead. It will be accessible towards the latter part of the story. Of course, you gotta go to space. The underwater area will appear in Revelation, but he can't delve into details just yet. Hamaguchi says that OG FF7's Knights of the Round Summon was something that came up in discussion in every part of the remake series. They're currently developing the content to be worthy of its epicness, so he tells fans to look forward to seeing how it will be shown in the game. FF7 Revelation does indeed have an ending, and it is one that Hamaguchi is proud of, that serves as a conclusion to his series that has taken more than 10 years. As for what that ending will be, you'll just have to experience it yourself. The affinity system from Rebirth will be different in Revelation. More focus will be put to some extent for all characters to flesh them out properly. If you want to learn more about certain characters, you will have to do so in a way that will deliver a different experience than the one in Rebirth. Okay. Hamaguchi doesn't really like the concept of multiple endings. Sure. Minigames will be less in number, but they are toning down the difficulty. Oh, will not be less in number, but they are toning down the difficulty for players who had issues in Rebirth. Cool. The slap fight between Scarlet and Tifa is indeed still in the game, and will be a minigame. The theme of Revelation is resolved. In case it's not clear, only one ending. Multiple timelines. Sure. Hamaguchi says Midgar will actually be a playable map in FF7 Revelation. I do not know the extent of how much of Midgar will be playable. Hamaguchi said Midgar areas will be explorable in this game, so I assume it will be the Shinra Building, Sector 7 slums, places you see in cutscenes from Dirge of Cerberus opening and OG FF7. Hamaguchi says the FF7 Revelation trailer at Summer Game Fest 2026 was the PS5 version of the game. However, the game is indeed playable at on the Switch 2 now. The team is looking to refine the PS5 and PC versions first before optimizing the Switch 2, as the game will have a multi-plat launch. Okay, alright. Well, I think that's enough for today. I think that's enough for today. I think it is. I think it is. Anyway, thank you all so much for my giant yap session of Final Fantasy VII Revelation. Can't wait to learn more. I'll be covering more news as we get it here on the channel. I do have a full-time day job, as most content creators do, so if you want to support the channel, be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel for more Final Fantasy VII Revelation content, news, and I will review all of this stuff for you guys as it comes along. Be sure and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please. Let's grow this channel. Go check out my gaming channel. It's called Blue Meteor Gaming. That is where I'm doing all of my actual playthroughs of games and stuff. I think Final Infinity has basically become the FF14 cutscene / gaming news channel, And if you want to see me actually play stuff, you got to go over to the Blue Meteor Gaming side, that channel. That's where I'm doing all my playthroughs. I do a lot of variety stuff. Right now, I'm currently doing a playthrough of Remake, the first game, and I'm almost done with it. I think we're just now starting chapter 15 in the recordings that I'm doing now. And then I'll be moving on to Rebirth, and we will have both of those playthroughs ready to go before Revelation releases in preparation for that. Okay, so yeah, so like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload something new right here on Final Infinity. Go check out Blue Meteor Gaming, watch my playthrough of FF7 Remake Part 1 and Rebirth coming up, as well as a bunch of other stuff. I play lots of different kinds of games. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, sticking around for this long-ass yap session of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, or Final Fantasy VII Revelation. I will see you all in the next video. I'm tired and I'm going to bed. Peace.